How did Glasnost affect Soviet dissidents? Have you ever wondered how a policy aimed at openness could change the lives of those who dared to speak out against a powerful regime? Let's take a closer look at how Glasnost impacted Soviet dissidents. Glasnost, introduced by Mikhail Gorbachev in the late 1980s, was all about increasing transparency in government and encouraging public discussions. This shift had a major effect on those who criticized the Soviet system. Before Glasnost, Soviet dissidents faced severe repression. They were often silenced through imprisonment, exile, or even forced psychiatric treatment. Their voices were marginalized, and their efforts to expose human rights violations were met with harsh consequences. The dissident movement, made up mostly of intellectuals, struggled to gain any real influence in a tightly controlled society. When Glasnost came into play, everything changed. Suddenly, there was more freedom to express opinions and discuss political issues. Dissidents found themselves able to speak out without the immediate fear of brutal punishment. This newfound openness allowed them to highlight problems like government corruption and human rights abuses, issues they had been raising for years. Glasnost was closely tied to another reform called Perestroika, which focused on restructuring the economy. Together, these policies drew from the dissidents' calls for a more just and democratic society. The ideas of dissidents gained a new platform, making their critiques part of the official conversation. This shift weakened the legitimacy of the Soviet regime and exposed the failures of the system. However, the increased openness also had unintended effects. While it improved conditions for dissidents, it also led to the surfacing of long-suppressed grievances. National, social, and political tensions that had been hidden began to emerge. From a socialist viewpoint, Glasnost revealed the shortcomings of the Soviet model, showing the need for reforms that aligned with principles of justice and accountability. In essence, Glasnost transformed the role of Soviet dissidents. It legitimized their critiques and allowed for broader public discourse, challenging the authoritarian nature of Soviet socialism. This period was crucial in paving the way for significant political changes and ultimately contributed to the dissolution of the Soviet Union. The story of Glasnost and its impact on dissidents is a powerful reminder of how openness can reshape a society.